My world is created. My path has been laid out. Like my destination is in stone. Yeah, we can do whatever you want to do, but you have to govern yourself according to what I put in place. At ease, brothers. All right, let's chop real quick, man. I want to talk about, like my last video, I talked about how I never not accomplish a goal. And I know that's not the right way to say it. I know that's a double negative or whatever you call it. I talked about how I always accomplish a goal. Like if I can get to the point where an idea and my thoughts get to the point where I can really classify them as goals, there's never a time where I don't accomplish that thing. I don't care if it's me getting to a new position in my career. I don't care if it's me moving to a different city. I don't care if it's me getting in a certain type of relationship. I don't care if it's me moving to the other side of the globe. I never don't accomplish that thing. Right? But I want to take this conversation a little bit deeper, man, to give you more insight of what I'm talking about, man. I want to give you more insight of how you can master life. Of how you can actually become a monster in any area as far as you accomplishing something, man. Let's do this first, man. Let's do this. If you like this content, first I want you to do is I want you to hit subscribe on this channel. Then I want you to go to Exit Strategies. I'll leave a link and I'll make the last video that comes up at the end. I'll make that an Exit Strategy video for you to make it easier, because this type of content is the type of content that will be placed on Exit Strategies going forward. So subscribe here, then go to Exit Strategies and subscribe over there if you like this content, right? Now let's bring a lot of conversations together, right? And I might be talking a little fast, man, because I'm burning daylight. Let's talk about, well, first let me say this. The most powerful thing in a man's arsenal, the most powerful thing in a man's toolbox is his calendar. The most powerful thing that a man can possess, that if he can master it, is his calendar. Now, so surely goodness and mercy, you about to talk about something more powerful than this. There's nothing more powerful than a man's calendar when you understand what's taking place. In my last video, man, I'm not sure exactly what I was talking about. Oh yeah, in my last video, I said, hey, you know what? A lot of reasons or the main reason why a lot of men don't accomplish their goals is because they never get it out of their heads to actually become a goal. It stays a thought. It stays an idea. I said, one thing you need to do is write it on paper. I said, so what you're doing when you write it on paper, you're taking a spiritual thing, which is thoughts, a spiritual thing, and you're forcing it into the third dimension. You're forcing it into this plane. So like when I talk about the first marriage of man, which I talked about that last video, I'll leave a link. I said before you get married, you have to be engaged. Like that's an engagement. When you cross realms, and now that thing is known on both realms. So I said that to kind of illustrate the power of both worlds coming together. And last video, that's really what I was talking about. You know, a singular truth, both worlds lining up, right? So taking that video and applying it to what I'm saying right now, you have to understand that your calendar, if you can master your calendar, it is by far the most important thing that a man can do. If a man masters his calendar, man, he literally becomes God in the flesh. What do you mean, soul? Speak on it, right? Going back to what I said a second ago, you have to understand what your calendar is. Your calendar is a combination of your vision and the marching orders that your ego has to follow. Let me say it again. Let me make sure I say this clear. Your calendar is a combination of your vision, right, on paper, as well as the marching orders that your ego, that your physical side must follow to form the marriage. It's the meeting place. It's the sanctum sanctorum. It's the holy grail of what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And if a man can master it, it's over, man. You know what I'm saying? And let me just speak a little bit, kind of back up a little bit. And I know a lot of y'all have watched other videos, but like just kind of going back to the beginning real quick. I don't want to speak too much on it, but like we always talk about creating the vision, right? Now the vision is just when the idea is getting life in your mind. Then we talk about you have to create the avatar. Like in other words, in your mind, create the being that could accomplish that vision you have. Once you create the avatar in your mind, now you have to write your own recipe. Like what must be done? What must be done? And that's really the same thing. What must be done for an individual to accomplish my vision? Who must they be? What kind of attributes must they have? What kind of habits must they have? What kind of demeanor must they walk in? What kind of truth must they have, right? And once you get all that, man, it's like now that's what I have to become to accomplish that thing. So going down to the next level, when you put these things on your calendar, you're writing a flawless recipe of what it takes to get to that point. Meaning if a person does A, B, C, D, and E on a regular basis, they can't help but get to that point, right? So you have life's instructions on your calendar. So here your ego comes. Here comes your physical body, looks at your calendar and says, okay, you know what? These are my marching orders. Like to seal this marriage. What's the word? To consummate the marriage, whatever that word is. If I do these things, I'm guaranteed to build that vision here in this third dimensional plane. So now do you understand how powerful it is? It's the most powerful thing, and if a man can master it, a man can create his own life, bro. Right? So I want to talk about why your calendar is so powerful, man. And I put a few bullet points, man, because I didn't want to forget this. Why is your calendar so powerful? Right? The first thing I put is this. Once you can put everything on your calendar in order to master that realm and to obtain that vision, life becomes a game, right? Life becomes, I don't want to say life. Your day becomes a game. In other words, you wake up at 0:30 and you look at your calendar, which it should be electronic and on paper, or at least electronic. When you wake up and you got all your time slots, you know what I'm saying? At 0:30, I'm going to the gym. When I get out of the gym, I'm coming back and I'm meditating. When I come out of meditating, at 7:30, I'm reading for an hour. After I read for an hour, I'm getting into my work. After I get to the work, I'm going to eat lunch. I'm eating this food. After that, I'm going, you got your whole day mapped out. When that alarm clock goes off, I'm gonna tell you, first off, I'm gonna say this. When you're in this flow state, right? You got to watch the last video to understand what I'm saying. When you find that perfect day and you put it on paper and now you're living in it, I'm going to tell you this. As soon as you close your eyes at night to go to sleep, you can't wait to wake back up. You can't wait to wake back up. And as soon as you wake up, man, it's go time. It's like life becomes a race against self. It's like I got all these things on my calendar. I'm working. I got this. I got these hours lined out. I got to beat that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a competition within self. And what happens, man, like the most powerful thing that happens when a man does that is life becomes meta. Your life becomes a meta world. And what I mean by that is, like when kids are young, and I don't want to say it like that. When I'll say it like this: when people play video games, PS5 and Call of Duty and all that stuff, you got to understand when we play Call of Duty and 2K and all that kind of stuff, that's a form of escape into another world. It's a form of escape into another world. Like there's some relief from that by playing the game in a different world. You can say it how you want to say it, but that's what it is. It's the exact same thing as social media. So you might have some people talking about, oh, kids need to put that video game down, but they're on Twitter all day. They're on the gram and the book and the tube and the TikToks all day. They're escaping in a form of meta. It's a form of escape. Yeah, we use it for work. We use it to communicate, but you got to call it what it is. It's meta. It's a form of escape. So what you're doing, man, when you get lost in your own calendar, you're creating your own meta. You're creating your own world, man, where it's like when you're in this world, like when you're lined up with that calendar, nothing else matters except that. You can completely tune the world out, and it makes you multitask better. It makes you more efficient. You know what I'm saying? I was at the gym this morning, and today is Monday here. Last night I had a power circle call, so I didn't get out the power circle, man, today near midnight last night. So I don't do the 0 dark 30 wake up on Monday mornings because I sleep a little bit later. But I went to the gym, man. I had my time slotted for my gym time was slotted from 0900 to 10:30. So at 10:30, I'm at the gym. I'm walking in at 8:59, and I'm on there. I'm on the clock. At 10:30, I'm walking out. Treadmill is stopping, right? And on the way out, man, Brody, this cat was in there. I don't know what he was really talking about. He just kind of wanted to chop. And I'm chopping for a second because I'm like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Network, get to know little people. But at the same time, I'm like, I got to go. I'm thinking I have things I got to do, bro. Like, I'm on the clock. I'm in a completely different world. And when I'm engaged in that world, man, it's like I don't want to let anything that's outside of that schedule interfere with what I have going on. So, yeah, I was chopping, man, but the whole time I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, hey, yeah. Hey, follow me on the gram. What's your Instagram? Yeah, let's connect, man. And I'm out. And I'm knocking my task out, man. And it's like it's the same fulfillment as you get during the Call of Duty. It's the same fulfillment that you get during and all I'm saying is you get lost in that world, and it just becomes a game of how can I master myself? How can I master my schedule? How can I master everything within it? It's kind of like I kind of finished my 11 o'clock task to 1 o'clock task. What I had blocked out, I finished it early, right? And I said, you know what, man, I need to shoot the MBK right quick. I'm shooting the MBK right quick, real quick, man. About a 30-minute, 40-minute, about a 35-minute Uber ride, Grab ride. And I'm sitting in there, and it's like I got 30 minutes in this window, and I still got things on my calendar. I said between here and MBK, I'm either going to, 1, record a video, or 2, fire my laptop up and knock some of my tasks out throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, life just becomes, you create your own meta. And if you can create your own meta, it's like what I've been saying for years. Create that bubble around yourself. You become the king of your own kingdom. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that matters is your truth in that world. And I'm gonna tell you this, man. If you want to become a monster in a certain area, if you want to be able to manifest whatever life you want, that calendar, bro. If you could master that calendar, you can master life. So the first thing is life becomes a game. You create your own meta, right? The second thing is this. You stay plugged in. So when I say you stay plugged in, you have to understand that when you're creating your day, like I advise everybody to, before you go to bed, go ahead and create that next day. Put the task down, put the time slots in there, and to be honest, say for example, you don't do it at night. A lot of people do it in the morning. To be honest, man, you should already be scheduling things for 3 or 4 days out, right? But get to what I'm saying. When I say you stay plugged in, you have to understand that everything that you're putting on your calendar, it revolves around your vision. Because if you're living from that place and you're scheduling from sun up to sundown, of course you got your cushion in there. Everything you put on there surrounds your vision. So there isn't anything that you're partaking in throughout the day that's not aligned with that vision. It's in paper. It's on paper. So you got to understand this. You got to understand when you aren't moving by a calendar. You got to understand when you aren't operating based on some kind of schedule or some kind of marching orders. It's almost impossible not to drift. Like if you just wake up on a Saturday, let's say it's your day off. If you just wake up on a random day off and you have no plans, you have no structure, you have no game plan, you have no system, you don't have anything. You just wake up and stretch, and whatever the world sends my way, that's what I'm subscribing to. Whichever way the wind blows, that's the direction I'm going. Brother, you're drifting within the first hour of the day. You know what I'm saying? So when you can master your calendar, when you can be disciplined to the things you put down on your calendar, it keeps you plugged in. It keeps you plugged in. Where when something comes outside of that vision, at least there's a red flag. I'm not saying you don't do anything outside of that vision, but it's going through so many filters. It's going through so many checks before you approve it. And most things are going to get vetoed. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times that phone might ring. A lot of times some old flames or old friends might call. But you're going to be like, hey, you know what? There's no time for that. Like my time has already been allotted toward doing things to get me to to the end goal. You know what I'm saying? So man, it keeps you plugged in. It keeps you plugged in. You know what I'm saying? Just think, it's almost like, not even almost, really what you're doing when you can plug into your calendar and don't unplug from it, is really like, what you're doing is meditating in real time. You're meditating in real time. In other words, when you're creating that world and you go into that state, man, whether you're sitting on the couch or in the gym doing whatever you're doing, and you go in that state and you're building that kingdom, when you can come out in this world and put your kingdom on paper and plug into it, you're meditating in real time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what other way to say that. You're meditating with your eyes open. You're living in that vision in the third dimension. You're forming a singular truth. It's the same thing. You're walking in your I am. It's the most powerful thing, man. And I'm not saying, like I said a second ago, I'm not saying that you won't do things outside of that. But when you do, there's so many alarms going off before you do it. It's very hard to drift when you align yourself to a calendar, man. It's hard to drift. It's hard to come out of that flow state. You know what I'm saying? So the third thing is this. It makes the world bend to you. It makes the world conform. Let me say it like that. It makes the world, let me get some water. It makes the world conform to your world. And you know what? Now I understand what this, I don't know what his position was at a job I had a long time ago. I had a job 2014, and I don't know what his position was. He was way on up there, man. He was like, hey, we can do anything y'all want to do, but it has to line up with my calendar. Like if it don't line up with my calendar, don't invite me, don't call me during this time. Like it has to line up with my calendar. And what he was saying was what I'm saying now. I didn't understand what he was saying then, but I understand now. What he was saying was, my world is created. My path has been laid out. Like my destination is in stone. Yeah, we can chop, we can do whatever you want to do, but you have to govern yourself according to what I put in place. Then you want to chop, you want to hang out, it has to align with my calendar or it can't exist. You know what I'm saying? So when you have your calendar in place, it's very hard to drift. You're forcing people to be governed to the world you create as opposed to vice versa. Like even when I just sit here and think about days where a calendar isn't my governor, brother, in one phone call, one text message, you in left field. You're in left field looking at the bleachers, man. You know what I'm saying? So it makes the world govern to your life. In other words, if you have your gym time set at 9:00, then at 9:00, come hell or high water, you're still going there. And if somebody says, hey man, you know what? Let's go to the bowling alley, man. Let's go to the club at whatever time. It's like, nah, bro, like the path has already been laid. Like in other words, once your path is laid, once your calendar is set and you're moving according to that, because it's going to guarantee your end result. When somebody comes and asks you to bend that, when somebody calls you and say, hey, you know what? I know you got this time allotted for this, but hey, let's chop for a second. What they're asking you to do is to forfeit your future. They're saying, so I know that you know who you are. I know that you know where you're going, but I'm asking you to forfeit that. I'm asking you to forfeit your recipe for me to talk about whatever I want to talk about. And you have to be like, nah, bro, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but you got to find a spot. You got to find a spot in the calendar, and then you got to make sure you're talking about something that's aligned with where I'm going, or to be honest, it can't take place. I'm telling y'all, bro. I'm telling you, man. And I know some of y'all are saying, man, this conversation is so rudimentary. I know that's the beauty of it. Your calendar has to be ground zero. Your calendar has to be ground zero. Everything has to evolve around that. Again, because that's where your vision is being put on paper, and those are the marching orders for your ego. Again, if you can master your calendar, man, you can master life.